Hi, we're the Counsel of Casuals. I'm Russell.
I'm Will.
And we felt like going over some upgrade ideas for the new... which set were they from? The Fallout set?
The Fallout set, yes.
Sorry, I never played.
Okay.
We're doing some simple upgrades. We tried to keep it around 10, 20 cards.
You tried. I didn't try as hard. And what's the name of your deck?
It was the Mutant Menace.
Okay.
That's the one I chose.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so for Mutant Menace, the first cut I made was 1 land. The deck actually has a lot of lands in it. I think it's like 36 or something like that.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty high.
Now, and it runs these lands there with the cost of 1 in order to produce mana.
I hate those.
Yeah, very inefficient, bad openers. I didn't want to cut a lot of lands though because it does rely somewhat on a self-milling strategy.
Yeah.
So I thought for some consistency, a good replacement would be Life of the Loam. You can recur it with Dredge, it helps the mill strategy, and it gives you guaranteed lands. Also, since you're going to have a lot of land drops, I figured having some additional landfall triggers would be handy. So Tireless Provisioner helps with, of course, treasures, and I don't know that the foods are going to be relevant, but hey, landfall triggers are always going to be dropping with Life of the Loam. Now, if I was really, if budget was no object, I could have gone for something like an Entomb or a Buried Alive too, for something like that. But yeah, I was on a 10-card budget here. Next was, the next cut is Biomass Mutation. Now this card, I didn't really see a whole lot of point to this because it requires a lot of mana dump to make a combat trick. Now it is a pretty big, wide combat trick. It's very Simic. But the deck was already trying to build counters for rad counters for milling on both you and your opponents, and it also tries to deal with +1 counters. So I figured this was leaving mana open for instant interaction was probably not going to happen very often.
Yeah.
So I decided to lean a little heavier into the counters I'm already producing with Evolution Sage.
Nice.
So hopefully I can proliferate a bit. Ideally, I like to put more proliferate cards in, but I figured just as a 1-card include, this was a good pick.
You would want to proliferate.
I would. The next cuts I've made were things that seemed slow or clunky, and they're all +1-ish, but I felt like they wouldn't offer enough to the deck to really warrant the slot they occupied.
Yeah, what I noticed with these Precons is a lot of the time they're a little slow, especially when you're playing with your pals and they have, homebrew decks and all that.
I will say though that this Lumbering Mega Sloth was actually a pretty cool bomb.
Yeah.
With actually a cost alternate there, so it had potential.
Yeah.
Tireless Tracker is always a good staple, and I actually liked this Paperwrite.
Okay.
For a different kind of deck idea. So I'm actually, it's already sleeved as you see because I have an idea of putting it in another deck. I just don't think it contributes to this deck at all.
Another video.
Another video, yeah. Copying itself counters this 3 turns to get any effect out of a 5-mana spell. These aren't really impressive to me. So instead, I decided to include a removal package. And I know I'm not doing 1-to-1 cards here, so I'm taking 10 out and putting 10 in. I decided to put in a board wipe, a counter spell, and a piece of removal.
Some Feed the Sword, nice.
No, there's no specific reason I chose Metal in the Mixture. It was just a 2-mana spell that I pulled several copies of in the latest set.
Nice.
Plus the Transmute is a tutor alternative.
Okay.
So it can help you get a specific card.
Nice.
And I was kind of torn on which board wipes to include, but I had a lot of copies of this sitting around, and I didn't feel like spending the $15 on another Toxic Deluge or whatever.
Yeah.
And plus, Golgari does Golgari things, so I like to be on a theme there.
You mean Golgari?
No, I meant Golgari. The next cards I cut are these 2 dudes. Now, this makes the deck seem like it's trying to do a tribal thing, and I suppose Precons like to lean on the tribalism a lot. Yeah. I'm sorry, what's the new word? Typal.
But they're main characters in the Fallout universe, Russell.
Well, I'm not biased in that way, so I get to decide how efficient they are. So instead, I capitalize on the deck strategies in different ways. Again, with a milling theme, You can kind of lean into a milling your opponents with some Bruvac. I pulled a few of those in the set too.
Nice.
So it was an easy include. I didn't have to spend the
Now, when
money
you say
on
set, which set?
the
Ravnica?
yes, the new Ravnica set. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You got that for a deal, right? What, didn't you buy it on Amazon when it went out?
Oh yeah. During that weird fire sale they had for like 2 days.
Yeah.
I bought it when it was on a really low price, and
There you go.
of course, Amazon didn't give it to me on time.
Of course.
Then for milling myself, I figured having a bomb would be nice to include since I took the Mega Sloth out.
Yeah, because the commander has interactions with milling yourself, right?
Yes. And this guy can reanimate things in everyone's graveyards. So that seems perfect.
Nice.
Of course, some self-recursion if my deck's getting a little thin and I'm worried about milling out.
Cool.
I can fluff my deck back up. And, of course, reanimates.
I love that art.
Yeah, love
It's
that.
sick.
I figured that anything worth playing in the deck once is worth playing a second time, so...
There you go. And if you're milling a lot.
Yeah. Those are my picks for the Mutant Menace. 10 cards in, 10 cards out, and I hope you like it.
Yeah. I like, should I emphasize? Should I elaborate?
Well, have you had any ads, like suggestions?
Off the top of my head, I would say no. You kind of just leaned into the theme of the deck a little more.
The milling, yeah.
Yeah, with the direction I took for the science deck, which you'll see in our next video. I kind of tried to lean into one strategy over another. While this deck is a little more straightforward in kind of its idea, I know that some people are playing it like with a rad angle, the new mechanic from the Fallout set, but I think it's really a mill deck at its heart. You know, mill and then +1/+1 counters.
I think the rad is a nice synergistic mill, so I don't want to like exclude it because as a sub strategy or oops, I just wobbled the camera.
You've been wobbling it the whole time.
Oops. As a secondary strategy, it complements the main strategy very well.
People are gonna get seasickness watching
Oh,
this.
great. Gotta record the whole thing over again.
No, it's fine. It adds character.
Yes.
There you
The
go.
early days.
Yeah, right. Okay. No, I think it's good. I think I like the fact that you just amped up on, you know, you clearly took some of the duds out and added some studs.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Pretty rad. Okay.
All right, cut.